What's up, everybody? It's Carpo. And a question for the day is, why do people really expect us to believe what they tell us? Or why do we expect others to believe us when we tell them things? So to try to explain this, there's I'm sure everyone's had this experience where you are told by someone that something is true and they just expect you to believe them because they're telling you. Because in this person's mind they are superior, or they know more than the next person, or whatnot. Sometimes it's a belief in a conspiracy, or it could be political, it could be religious, it could be something about the psyche or the spirit that people claim is true, or aliens, or whatever it might be. And a person tells you, well, this is true, and they say it in a matter-of-fact way. But people seldom do that in day-to-day life when they're just talking with people. But online, it's a lot easier for a person to just make a comment as if it's a fact. And if a person comes back with a comment that says, well, it's not necessarily true, and then the other person, they discuss the issue, and they both walk away with newfound information, and that's fine. Sometimes when a person comes back and questions another person and say, well, why do you believe this is true? They'll just jump down their throat and act as if they're ignorant. It's a recurring theme. But, like for example, the other day I had, a comment from this guy who claimed that he was one of the only true sons of God, and that, that when I was being judged after I died and I was spending eternity in hellfire, that I wish I'd listened to him. And I said, buddy, I've been down this road. I've talked to your kind way too many times. Everyone seems to know that what's going to happen after they die, and that everyone else is damned if they don't know. I don't even spend time or energy on these people or this subject anymore of arguing about religion, because I just find that it's futile. Just as I would not expect another person to ditch their God and believe what I believe, I don't expect them. They shouldn't expect me to just ditch and just start believing in what they believe. But people do. We do. I see it all the time. I see people who say, you should believe this and give it a try. I've gotten more and more Muslims actually have sent me comments and video links and saying, the most recent one I got, I think it was like, listen with your heart, not with your eyes, or something, or watch with your heart. It doesn't matter whether I watch everything with my emotions. I don't just watch things with my brain. But folks who have a particular belief that they think that others should all hold, they tend to think that people just aren't aware of these subjects, as if people aren't aware that these things are happening. And this is how we get the sheeple syndrome and saying everyone's asleep. Fact is, a lot of people aren't asleep. They just don't care about that stuff anymore. They don't care about arguing about particular details. Chemtrails are a good example for me. I got into it with a couple people in the past about chemtrails, and although I tried to explain myself and express myself as rationally as possible, I was a government agent, or I was just ignorant or unaware, and people would say, look at the evidence, look at the facts. And I'm like, I have looked at the facts. You're not understanding me. I'm saying that I'm not interested in this anymore because the facts I've found are not conclusive enough for me to warrant a good basis judgment to really understand what's happening. But there seems to be Joe Blow sitting in his basement who claims that everyone should listen to them, as if they are privy to information online that no one else can get. And this is where everyone's getting their information, the internet. There's no way around it, people. I don't care how deep people claim they dig, you're still using the internet for your main source of information. At least the people that all the sources that have ever been quoted that I hear. Often when I'll have a discussion with someone on something and try to be rational and I say, I respect that you believe that, but I really don't. And but if you could provide me a link to your statistics or your evidence or whatever, then I'd be glad to look at it. And then they send me a link, and it's a link to another YouTube video from another guy that's basing it on the same exact thing. It's like a cycle. They're feeding off of each other. I just separate myself from that. I just don't have time to try to prove anything, because I don't know. I don't know what's really going on behind closed doors. I don't know what's really going to happen when I die. You know? I don't know exactly how my soul and body are connected or not connected. I don't know what out-of-body experiences really consist of. I don't know if dreams are really an out-of-body experience or linked, or if certain dreams are normal dreams and some are, you know, bodily detachment. I don't know if lucid dreaming is really being in another dimension. I don't know if psychedelics really open up another doorway to consciousness, or if they just make you think that you're more aware. I don't know if UFOs are interdimensional or interstellar, or if they even exist for sure. Or maybe they've just always been here, you know. I just don't know. Okay, I could go on and on and on, but these are things that I have a pretty good, strong feeling about in a particular direction, but I cannot tell people this is fact. I don't push my beliefs, and if people out there think I do, I apologize for that. You're interpreting me completely wrong, because I actually had somebody mention that the other day. They said it seems like you're trying to push your beliefs on others, and I'd really love to hear anyone's example of how I'm pushing beliefs. If anything, I'm pushing certain beliefs away, and I know sometimes it seems like I'm almost casting more stones at ideas than I am supporting them. Well, that's because if something opens itself up to ridicule or attack, or there's a weak point in it, I'm going to find it. Anytime I believe in something, or really want to believe in something, the first thing I do is I go to the skeptic side of it, and I look at it from a different view. Anytime I find a new speaker or an author that just really engages me, or really gets me thinking, I Google their name with hoax or scam, and you know, any product, any person, I am a skeptic by nature, and I used to think that was kind of a bad word. That skeptics were people who just couldn't believe anything. But skeptics were actually a group of philosophers, and they were actually a group called the Skeptics, you know, and they, you know, the whole idea was to prove everything through conclusive research to the best of your ability. Because you have two options for proving what you believe. It's either through the research of others, which is very common, or it would be the experience of the individual, which is also very common. And a religion's a good example for that. A person may believe in a particular religion because they were brought up on it, and that's what they were told to believe, or they may believe in it because they had a personal inner mystical experience that led them to believe that it was true. Or it could be a combination of the two. But either way, we're either relying on our senses to sense the exterior world, or our senses to sense our interior world. I've had discussions with people who claim that what they believe is true. Whether it be religion's always the example that comes up, because that's something people feel really strongly about. And they'll tell me that they feel it in their heart, that they had an experience that they can't explain, and that they know because they just feel it. And then we'll have a discussion back and forth, and in the end I'll tell them that my heart's really telling me that that's just not the truth, and they'll claim that I shouldn't follow my feelings. Don't follow your feelings. But they're following their feelings. See what I mean? Another person will say that a particular conspiracy is true, and then I'll show them, like, let's say, a link to something that shows that it's not true, and they'll say, oh, well, that's just misinformation. I'll say, how do you know yours isn't misinformation? So, I can't get to the point where I say that majority rules, because that's not true. Democracy only works in an educated society. So, if I really believed that the majority was usually right, then I would be dreadfully mistaken, because the majority is usually not even aware. But I'm talking about the majority within the minority. In other words, if I have a big group of friends that are all into the same things as I am, what does the majority within those people who do the research say? So, in alternate media, if more alternate media is reporting that conspiracy isn't true than it is, then we have to lean towards our peers' research because it's the best we have. But I guess we're kind of stuck at a crossroads of whether or not we believe something and just say that I have to have faith to believe this is true, or whether we're a skeptic consistently about everything. Now, I'm going to tell you from a standpoint of someone who is, I used to get really into something and believe it was true. When I was really into, the feeling I get when I do, when I meditate, or when I do yoga, or when I was really into Ram Dass, and the Hinduism, the feelings I got were so exhilarating, and just it was an overwhelming feeling of joy. And eventually that cycle passed. Not that joy didn't go away. I'm a happy person. But I realized I can't hang on to a particular thought pattern forever. I have to keep moving. And I can still go back to that. See, I can call upon that. But I can compare it to my other experiences. And this is why when a person says, let's say I had this feeling, and when I asked Jesus for help, I had this surge of great, energy, and my life was fulfilled, whatever it may be. I've had that same feeling through my experiences, mystical experiences that I've had, but there's no way to compare those two. You can't compare two people's experiences. It's impossible. And but I'm not going to sit here and say my experience is any more valid than the next guy. That's what I'm saying. I can't do that. I'm not out to say that Christianity is wrong. I'm not out to say that Islam is wrong. I'm not out to say that right or left-wing political views are wrong, because somewhere in the middle lies the truth. That people need something to hang on to, and something to feel good about, and something to believe in. And when people can't believe in themselves, they find something external. But when people do believe in themselves, sometimes they take it a little too far. Just remember, you're one person. No matter who you are, no matter what your experiences are in life, you are one person. I'm one person. I can only vouch from my particular point of view, and I'm not out here to tell anybody what to believe, and nor am I the kind of person who just wants to doubt everything. I just want to question everything that comes my way until I can understand to the best of my ability the world around me. And I'm very glad that I started this in my 30s, this particular part of my search, because by the time I'm, within my 60s, I'm hoping to be at least wise enough to make better decisions for the world around me, for my future, and for the future of those I love. And I love you all. Peace.